Hello and welcome to the Scooby Doo review. I'm your host Zerk, though you may know me as Zerk Monster Hunter 4 on YouTube. And with me here is my co-host Pen. Say hello, Pen.
Welcome to the episode where we review Scooby Doo Pirates Ahoy! And that's the end of the pirate voice.
We have decided that every other Wednesday, until we either run out of things to review or expire, we will review a piece of Scooby Doo media. As my co-host already pointed out, we are indeed covering Pirates Ahoy today, a movie that I think both of us have mixed feelings about in our One Through the What's New era.
Before we begin our summary, I would like to give a shout out to Blokewood3 on YouTube, on our Scooby Doo Review YouTube channel, for being incredibly insightful and actually leaving us some really, really good comments. So thank you, Blokewood3.
So, without further ado, let's begin our suffering by summarizing the story.
In the seas of the Bermuda Triangle, as a opening sequence begins, then now I think the opening sequence is actually pretty good. It's pretty good. You know, you've got old Viking maps popping up, and basically all of these ships are going into the Bermuda Triangle, and they're all getting sunk or disappearing from evil ghost fog, or, Flight 19 just disappearing, stuff like that.
It's a creative opening credit sequence, and throughout all of the What's New era movies, we've had these good, really cool, really inventive opening credit sequence that try to set the tone well for the movie. But when you talk about tone setting for the movie, you have to then go into where this movie actually begins, which is on the deck of the Galaxy Gazer, as we meet the crew of researchers, and specifically one researcher by the name of Rupert, who is studying this very curious painting in his room after the captain warns him that they are passing into the Bermuda Triangle, which we'll get into the triangle a little later in the podcast itself.
Yeah.
For the purposes of this movie, just assume that all the naval legends you've heard about it are more or less true, and its reputation does precede itself. Rupert then goes into his room only to find something strange happens as a weird fog rolls in the middle of the open sea, which is not how weather works, but that's kind of the point. We then get actually a kind of a legitimately tense scene as these claws and hands of these ghost pirates climb onto the Galaxy Gazer and basically raid the whole thing. They don't really play their cards hard with the pirates, and the whole scene is actually, if the effects were good and it was done perhaps in live action, it might actually be legitimately terrifying, on par with the introduction of the skeleton crew from Curse of the Black Pearl, I think.
Absolutely. You could actually make these ghosts, because these ghost pirates actually do have a certain presence in this movie. They're pretty good. They're kind of menacing, They do commit actual piracy in this movie.
A lot of Scooby-Doo villains are merely obstacles or monsters, whereas a lot of these ghost pirates actually have some level of personality and charisma to each of them. Not to mention, a lot of them have completely, totally unique designs. So it was this movie coming off of Where's My Mummy, taking a large group / army of monsters that all had individual designs, like in Where's My Mummy with the Army of the Undead, but now actually assigning personalities and making those designs even more distinct. You can pick out individual pirates from the crew.
They keep it very consistent, which I admire, because that's keeping an eye for detail is really, really cool. Yeah. Especially in these children's movies, because I watched this one a lot as a kid, and man, I did not notice any of this.
Yeah.
It's a silly, fun pirate movie.
So that then brings us to the end of this scene where the Galaxy Gazer is raided. We don't see much of the pirate captain and his first mate, which I think is good, them holding their cards to that.
Well, and then they hold their cards for a little too long, we would say.
Yeah. After the pirate captain and the first mate take something from Rupert, they sink the Galaxy Gazer, leaving Rupert adrift in the wreckage.
This will come back later, because it doesn't make any sense. From there, we cut over to the Scooby Gang, as Fred is driving them from Miami, I suppose, because later on they say that they came from Miami. He's going to go visit his parents, Skip and Peggy. While they pull up, Daphne actually asks how old Fred is, and he comedically says 43. This is not actually true, as he's simply just saying the name of the pier that he's looking for. But how old is Fred, really? How old is he?
Well, considering this does take place in the What's New era where they're technically teenagers.
No, they're teenagers. Yeah, no, they just live in the van.
Okay, like maybe they could reasonably be teenagers if like all of them just graduated and they're like 18, 19.
I guess.
Like
yeah.
that I might believe.
Mm-hmm.
But like practically for most Scooby-Doo continuities, they are way closer to 20-something college-age kids than anything else.
Yeah, I guess Fred's parents, Skip and Peggy, only actually show up in this one movie, I believe.
Yeah. We haven't gotten into the What's New series, and I remember season 1 of What's New more than I do the later seasons. But I believe actually Fred's parents are the only gang parents who actually show up in the What's New era continuity. We meet several uncles and cousins and relatives throughout the What's New continuity, but I think Fred's parents are the only parents of any gang member we actually meet.
Are the gang all orphans? We don't know.
Hard to say. Anyways, so after meeting Skip and Peggy, and Skip and Fred have like a pretty cool father-son handshake, we're introduced to sort of the crux of this movie's drama, which is that the gang is going on a cruise. And supposedly this will be a vacation from all their mystery-solving things, and they'll actually get to relax for once. But that doesn't happen, obviously. The team kind of crawls on board, but not before Shaggy and Scooby spy a small, creepy dude in a black cape. This comes back later.
They also meet Sunny St. Cloud, who is just the most bubbly tour director ever. She gives me the impression that she's in this for, like, she needs to get paid, and she has to put on the fake image of being this bubbly tour guide, because deep inside, she just wants a bottle of whiskey.
Oh my god, yes. Sunny St. Cloud is... I honestly really love the, like, totally fake customer service with a smile type characters. I think it's just hilarious. And she
is one of the better characters in this, I'd say.
And you hate her for all the right reasons and love her for all the right reasons as well.
This then starts the whole cruise ship sequence, which goes on for just way too long.
Yeah.
And while the writing in it is actually like okay, it's pretty good. I'd say the writing's like it's kind of funny. This movie is actually quite funny. It has good gags.
Yeah,
over a lot of the other ones.
Throughout the whole movie, like there's a lot of great practical gags through the chases, which we'll get into later, and a lot of the writing, like the dialogue in this movie is very, very witty. It reminds me a lot of sort of classic Warner Brothers dialogue, and that it's kind of a little smarter than you first think on your first view, and you're like, hey, no, I get it. But at the same time, this movie's pacing is just a little sketchy, to say the least.
Yes. Let's continue with the synopsis. As they meet Sunny St. Cloud and are taken on a tour of the ship, they end up meeting Captain Crothers, who disappears as if by magic.
So it basically ends up with the gang solving the first case, which is this alien that supposedly kidnapped Captain Crothers, which is actually being portrayed by Captain Crothers.
And at that point, there's a whole bunch of kind of sloppy mysteries.
Yeah.
As they go through it, and they solve all of them really, really quickly. And leading to the rest of the passengers being really gosh darned angry at them.
Yeah.
Because, dang it, this is supposed to be a mystery cruise. Why are you so good at this?
The gang refuses to get involved in any more mysteries. Only for shortly after their refusal to get involved in anything else, does the cruise ship come upon a strange castaway.
Castaway being Mr. Garcia. A person who does not belong in this movie, for his voice acting is just like way too intense, and he's not comedic. He's actually like, oh my god, my ship, they're all gone. They took them.
Yes.
They took all my crew.
Yeah, this man is actually damaged and terrified, and he just washed up in a Scooby-Doo movie.
He screams about ghost pirates, and then sort of disappears for a little bit. And then Tony Stark, shows up with a jetpack.
As if
Yep.
this movie couldn't get any weirder or complicated or juggling however many subplots and side characters. We meet billionaire Beef Wellington.
Biff Wellington. Well, we like to call him Beef Wellington. We'll have a little character aside later for him.
Yeah. He's
Because-
basically
Go ahead.
discounts Tony Stark.
Oh yeah.
And he basically comes on the ship, chews the scenery for like 2 minutes, and we don't see him again till the end of the movie. It's at this point that after Beef Wellington is done, Sunny St. Cloud informs everybody that for tonight's entertainment there will be a masquerade dinner and magic show. Scooby and Shaggy are supposed to have costumes that they have not registered.
So you can't have the same costume as anybody else. So there's this extended sequence where they dress up really fast and then just kind of teleport between being dressed and then going back to St. Cloud being like, is this acceptable? And this is once again more evidence that Shag and Scoob have latent superpowers, at least in my headcanon.
Once Sunny St. Cloud finally says, "Oh, we have a perfect costume for you guys," we then smash cut to the masquerade dinner where everybody is in costume. Rupert is looking like he's recovered from his trauma. You got over that in 4 hours, I guess.
It's fine. Ghost PTSD.
Gang is all dressed up. Somehow they find an excuse to get Daphne in a cat suit, which I really don't think they needed to do, knowing the fan base, but whatever. The gang are then introduced to the night's entertainment, which is Mr. Mysterio, that creepy dude that has been following Scooby and Shaggy all over the ship, looking for them. He then wants to get a volunteer from the audience to hypnotize, which turns out to be Scooby and Shaggy. But because Scooby and Shaggy are immune to hypnosis, everyone else gets hypnotized instead of them. However, the gang and Fred's father and Rupert all go over to the window instead of watching the hypnosis show to watch a strange, eerie fog roll in, to which Rupert says, "Oh no, it's happening again." Once Mr. Mysterio ends the trance on everyone, and everyone is like, "What the hell happened?" a blackout occurs on the ship, and a strange sound is heard.
There are also a few other things I'd like to go over for the dinner scene before we get to the real meat. First of all, one of the people from the ancient lost city of the mummy in Where's My Mummy is actually there. He's just in the background. I guess he's having a nice vacation. There is also the fact that there's this camera gag that they keep using, and it doesn't actually go anywhere. It just there. It's like a camera flash, and then whoever gets a picture taken of them just kind of is stunned for a second, and you'd think they would use that against the pirates later or something, but they never do.
Yeah. It's just this weird running gag with Fred's parents and their Polaroid that just goes nowhere. So a sound rings out, and after the blackout, the ship is beset by pirates who start kidnapping everyone who attended the masquerade ball.
So we go into our second chase, which we will get to later. But just after the pirates show up, this movie really picks up. It gets good. There's actual sword fighting, and Fred fights off some people. Fred actually gets a single frame where he just looks like Kenshiro from Fist of the North Star. It's hilarious. I love it.
Yeah. No, the whole sequence with the pirates actually invading and attacking the cruise ship, it's legitimately good. It's high energy, there's stakes, there's atmosphere, the pirates are all great, like we talked about with the opening and the Galaxy Gazer. It's like this movie turned itself back on into something interesting after this very meandering opening 30 minutes. It takes 30 minutes before we get to the scene where the gang actually runs into the pirates.
Go ahead.
I think in the notes we compared this to you have to sit through an episode of What's New before this movie actually starts.
Yep. I would say that they really do keep the pirates way too long, just because it's 20, 30 minutes into the movie and the pirates show up, and it's there's only 45 minutes left. You kind of should have done something with them. And then after that, as the entire cruise ship has been emptied of people by these ghost pirates, Fred just drives the cruise ship. Yep.
Yeah. Because Fred can drive anything.
Fred can drive anything. This is what I think, as the superpower guy of our duo, that's Fred's thing. At
Yeah.
least, what's new, Fred? He can drive anything. There's also an incident later in the film that we will talk about when we get there.
Yeah. So Fred drives the cruise ship in pursuit of the pirates as they follow sort of the residue from the green fog, which is a green trail in the water left behind by the ghost galleon. In the chaos of the first attack on the cruise ship, Fred's parents were kidnapped. Fred's father was mistaken for Rupert, since Fred's father was dressed as a castaway at the masquerade dinner, using Rupert's old clothes, since I guess they're the same size, whereas Fred's mother is nowhere to be seen. The pirates are torturing Fred's father into trying to get him to read the painting that Rupert had in the opening, because it's apparently accurate enough to be a star map.
Do it later, Zach.
Don't get me started on this.
We'll get to it later.
They're trying to basically torture him in the most general audience manner, to which a new pirate that we are introduced to by the name of Sea Salt Sally suggests that he walk the plank.
Doesn't really make any sense, since if you were to make him walk the plank and then, make him jump off into the water of the Atlantic, you would kill him. Mm-hmm. So, just don't worry about it. It's fine. Just this. Okay, look, this movie's plot makes no sense. There's nothing. It doesn't. Nothing about
we can't stop beating around the bush. This movie's plot makes no sense.
We'll get to it later.
So, but before they can make Skip walk the plank, the pirates then realize that they're being tailed by the cruise ship. To which the pirates change course slightly, and then literally start firing cannons to sink this cruise ship. Now, we did our research, and we found out that for a cruise company to basically actually create a cruise ship, it costs about $555 million to build a average-sized cruise ship, which holds about 2,000 to 3,000 passengers.
They commit real life piracy, and they sink an entire cruise ship.
Yes.
We'll bring this up again later, because there are other things that don't make any sense. Especially, but it just... Anyway, the pirates managed to sink the cruise ship, and the Scooby Gang are left in a pile of floating wreckage. However, with their amazing senses, Scooby and Shaggy can smell coconuts and bananas somehow through their magic superpowers, I guess. And then Shaggy gets everyone on a floating barrel, and they all hold on while Scooby uses his tail to create a speedboat propeller.
Yeah.
They are magic. This is proof that you can't... Look, Scooby and Shaggy are the only people who ever do any of this, cartoon stuff, okay? It makes sense. I'm not crazy.
Well, they're the only people who do any of this cartoon stuff until we get to a certain movie in the What's New era, but we're saving that one for last. Anyways, the team get to this island and start building a raft, which, despite the fact that they have Scooby's speedboat, they decided they needed a raft that was painted like the Mystery Machine. How Daphne got the paints to do this, I do not know.
How are they cutting down the trees?
Shaggy just karate chops them.
I guess. That's the only thing I can think of.
Anyways, Scooby and Shaggy go into the jungle to look for food, and they get bananas thrown at them by monkeys. And then we have a Crash Bandicoot level.
They ride a log and down a mountain, and then after that whole sequence, they fall into a pool of water, and the rest of the gang are there for some reason. They ask, Scoob and Shag ask, "Why are you here?" And they just say, "We took the stairs." We then pan out to a shot featuring
the stairs.
A lot of stairs.
Yep.
Then Shaggy presses a button, and the entire cliff face opens into secret pirate cove, I guess.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which has floodlights.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, and the Galaxy Gazer. You remember the beginning of the movie where they sank that to the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean? Haha, haha. Well, guess what, buddy? Somehow they brought it back.
Yeah, it's still
I
here, and
they
everything's intact and everything's in the proper place.
they literally like wrecked Rupert's room in the like the prologue, and it's just completely fine here. It's just completely fine. It's nothing's been moved except for the painting that
Yeah.
has been stolen.
Yep.
Yep. And then the pirates show up because I guess they're just clairvoyant or something. I don't know anymore.
Yep.
And yep. And they kidnap the gang and tie them to the mast of their galleon. Why? Don't know. Really don't know.
So the pirate captain, Captain Skunkbeard, is still trying to get Skip to read the star map when Rupert mistakenly labels the painting as his own, and they finally get the right guy. And Rupert is then coerced into leading the pirates to the location of the meteor.
Yes, the meteor that is featured in the painting.
Yes, as Skunkbeard basically explains his motivation is to time travel back to the golden age of piracy and just be a pirate.
That's what he wants to do using magic
Meteor.
Bermuda Triangle meteor. Yep. That makes sense. Yep.
That makes total sense. It's at this point the gang, with an opening created by Rupert's efforts, are able to cut the bonds of being tied to the mast with Daphne's credit card and Scooby's jowls, and they escape and sneak below deck, where they stumble into a secret room that has projections that have been used to stimulate the stuff like the sea serpent and the ghost ship and the ghost planes that the group has been seeing whilst tied to the mast as they approach closer and closer to the heart of the Bermuda Triangle, which is just open ocean, but I guess not in this movie.
That's another thing that just... Why did they need that? Why did they even need the projection, Zach?
I don't know.
We'll talk about it later. There's so many inconsistencies in this movie.
So, after finding this secret room, and basically unraveling that somebody really wants to make the Bermuda Triangle of the mystery look real, Velma just declares she's figured it out, and the gang sets a trap.
This trap, I still don't know how they set it up without getting caught doing that. It still doesn't make any sense.
Yep. Daphne and Fred pretend to be aliens, whilst Velma pilots a remote-controlled UFO, and they confront the pirates after the pirates dredge up the meteor at the center of this weird snaggly-ass island. And then, Scooby and Shaggy are below deck holding a net.
As they pull up the meteor, some cannonballs fall over and falls right on Scooby's foot, which causes him to let go of the rope, and then, since the rope is going too fast, Shaggy's hand gets rope burn, and they both cover each other's mouths, and then the net that Skip is also holding above this group of pirates, because I guess they just know where they're going to move somehow, it falls, and the trap fails. This leads us into Chase 3.
Yep. Where the whole gang are now chased around the deck of the ship by the pirates until finally Scooby and Shaggy cut the bandolier of something, or the jib, I don't know ship words, causing a big netting rig to fall down and capture all the pirates. And Captain Skunkbeard's true identity is revealed as Beef Wellington.
And then his first mate basically takes off his mask, revealing that he's Mr. Mysterio. And essentially at this point, it's revealed that the entire pirate crew were hypnotized passengers of boats that they had been, committing piracy on. Because
the meteor is solid gold, and the only way, according to Mr. Mysterio, that Biff Wellington, this billionaire, would fund an expedition to find a solid gold meteor was if he convinced him that he was the reincarnation of a famous pirate and that the meteor would allow him to time travel.
This doesn't make any sense. After we finish the synopsis, we will go into all of the inconsistencies that this movie has and it doesn't make any sense. As Mr. Mysterio reveals himself and reveals the meteor is solid gold, the entire place starts shaking. Apparently, the Bermuda Triangle wants its meteor back. They also have like a little scientific bit where it's like, wow, volcanic activity, but it's one of the most volcanically stable regions in the world.
You know, the Gulf of Mexico, where there are literally no fault lines or anything.
Yep. So the Bermuda Triangle wants its meteor back. That's what we're going with. Yep.
You know, actual magic.
Yep.
Cthulhu. I don't even know, man.
I mean, they did meet the Buddha, so like,
yeah.
But that's part of their ascension arc. It's not important.
It's not important right now. Anyways, the gang then have to deal with Mr. Mysterio, who Scooby beats by tickling him.
This PG-rated movie.
At which point, in order to help out anything, they need to find Fred's parents, which Sea Salt Sally is getting skipped to finally walk the plank.
Yep.
Velma and Scooby pilot the models of flight whatever to rescue Fred's parents. And then, as the Bermuda Triangle is still shaking, Daphne just tells Fred, do something, to which Fred, with the galleon in a whirlpool, grabs the wheel and sails the galleon uphill by drifting it across the whirlpool against the current.
Fred drifts the galleon in this movie.
And then escapes. My voice cracked as shit, but I don't care. He escapes the snaggly ass island as it collapses into the sea.
Look, Fred, even with his superpower, can drive anything. He just turns around. Like, it takes like 2 seconds. It's like, oh no, we're getting swallowed by a wormhole. And then he just like turns the wheel and it just leaves. That's it. That's what that is.
To Daphne's credit, when she asked Fred to do something, he did it.
Yep. And then all of the passengers somehow fitting on this galleon, and they have, enough food and water to last for a trip back to Miami, are just partying. And Fred sailing the ship back to Miami. The captain and Sonny St. Cloud, they're all there. Everybody's there. Yeah, and the movie resolves itself. It's done. Now we get to talk about how none of this makes any goddamn sense.
No, it doesn't.
Okay, first of all, if Mr. Mysterio, who by the way is on the power scale, he levitates a table earlier on in the movie, and that just never explained.
Nor how he mass hypnotized everyone.
Yep, and made them aggressively fight against their former brethren, a thing that hypnosis does not do. No. He is magic. He is a magic Australian. Second of all, if Beef Wellington is a billionaire, why did he not just hire Mr. Rupert Garcia, apparently the only person who knows how to read this star map? He's a billionaire. He literally shows up with a jetpack. He just flies in. Why didn't you just hire him? You didn't have to commit piracy for this.
All of Wooden Leg Wally / Mr. Mysterio's plot hinges on the fact that Biff Wellington would believe him, first off, and secondly, that they have a cruise ship to scuttle, and the Galaxy Gazer, and he doesn't count on the fact that Scooby and Shaggy are immune to hypnosis. Why? And then he changes from Eastern European to Australian between his two speaking parts in the movie?
This movie is very strange. I like it personally because I can laugh at it.
This movie, man, it's just like, do we even want to talk about the characters?
Well, I mean, I do have to talk about Beef Wellington. So, Beef Wellington is an English pie made of filet steak coated with pâté, often pâté foie gras, which is then wrapped in pharma ham and puff pastry, then baked. Some recipes include wrapping the coated meat in a crepe to retain the moisture and prevent it from making the pastry soggy. A whole tenderloin may be wrapped and baked, then sliced for serving, or the tenderloin may be sliced into individual portions prior to wrapping and baking. So that's Beef Wellington, yep.
Yeah. Voiced by Ron Perlman.
Voiced by Ron Perlman. Captain Skunkbeard in this movie, though, is like I'd say he's a pretty good villain. Like,
Yeah,
he's got a presence.
yeah, he's not Amelia von Butch tier,
No,
obviously.
no.
But he is at the very least fun, and he's got a
Yeah,
cool ghost pirate design, way cooler than like some previous Scooby ghost pirates. Like I think he beats Redbeard handily in terms of ghost pirate
definitely.
design.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, I honestly I don't even really want to talk about the characters because we already kind of gave them a little tidbits throughout the synopsis.
Yeah,
They're pretty good, like
like
they're all right, but this plot makes no sense at
yeah,
all.
like even Fred's parents, like they're like a lot of characters in this movie. Like in the previous What's New movies we talked about, the characters are like actually characters. They have goals that are well defined. At the very
Mhm.
least, they have memorable personalities. They do crazy shit like Ian Loxley fucking tossing a caber 600 feet in the air.
Yep.
Uh, and it's at least cool to see the characters because they have relationships and other things. All the characters in this movie are completely disconnected from each other, and they're just all quirks. Like
Yep.
Rupert Garcia, his quirk is that people mispronounce the name of his occupation. It's Fred's parents. They're boomers from the Midwest.
Yep.
Freaking Sunny St. Cloud. She's like a fake customer service lady. Captain Crothers. He's unnecessarily weird and
He just kind of there.
yeah
Captain Brothers
yeah
doesn't really do anything.
yeah. It's just this movie, man. Like
Why?
the only gang members who have anything to do are Scooby, Shaggy, and Fred. Daphne and Velma just kind of are there.
Velma doesn't even solve anything in this except for when she throws like Scooby the remote control to save Fred's parents on planes that shouldn't even be able to fly like that. But it's fine. It's fine.
And not to mention, they kind of do Daphne dirty in this movie. During one of the chases, she like looks in a shop at like a bikini, and it's like, really, girl, are you that vapid? You're being chased by literal actual pirates. God, this movie.
I think
This
we should
movie,
go into the
man.
chases now.
This movie, dude. Oh god.
We should go into the chases now, Zach.
All right, yeah.
Escape from the
Let's talk about the first chase.
first chase. I say it's like it's okay, fine.
The
The music's good.
Yeah.
All the music in this movie is really good.
This This movie is actually not composed by Thomas Chase Jones. Actually,
no,
interestingly,
no, it's not. Steven Argila,
yeah,
who actually did it. He did a good job, and I love me some Tom Jones, but Steven, yeah. Honestly, all of the music in this was like really good. They had good lyric tracks for everyone, and as you know here on the review, we do like our lyric tracks.
Yeah, no, I like that this movie, all three of the chases have lyrics to them, and I think, and that's what really brought down the third chase and Where's My Mummy for us, which was that it didn't have a lyrical accompaniment to it. So the fact that all three of these chases have lyrics in them, good shit.
So yeah, the first chase is Scoob and Shag getting chased by this first alien, the fake alien that's Captain Crothers.
Yeah.
And they just go through a bunch of gags. The gags are all right. They hit.
Yeah, for the most part, they're good visual gags. They aren't too ridiculous. I will say, though, the alien design is just kind of a lazy aesthetic retread of the ones from Alien Invaders, which you could see as an homage because later on in the montage of the gang solving mysteries put up by the cruise ship staff, that there are homages to Where Are You in there. So this could be an homage in that sense. But the alien design's a little unoriginal. Though I do like that the different vibe of this movie, like the rest of the songs in this movie are kind of like what I would describe as hard rock sea shanties, if that makes any sense.
Oh yeah.
Whereas this first chase,
Run for the Hills.
Yes, is more sort of surf rock, which
it's really weird. I can't tell what genre it is. It's really fast.
I would say surf rock is the closest, just because there's kind of a bit of a doo-wop to it. So
yeah, I guess. So ratings.
So overall, this chase, it has a hallway gag. The gags are pretty good. The song's
Yeah.
enjoyable, if not enigmatically genre agnostic. But it's definitely not the best chase we've ever seen, but it's definitely above average. So I gave it a strong 6 out of 10. I might be willing to go up a little higher, but 6 is where my gut is telling me with this one.
6.2 for me. It's like an average chase. It's all right.
Yeah.
The second chase, when the pirates show up, that one's really good.
Oh,
actually.
yeah. Oh, this one's tons of fun. It's definitely on par with the second chase from Loch Ness.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Which was a chase that we all rated pretty highly here, so this one's really good. It's definitely not up to our gold standard of the first Mummy chase, but this one's really good.
Yeah. The music is wonderful, as we've said before.
Yeah.
They actually fight these pirates. Like Fred throws a deck chair at one of them.
Yeah.
And the gags are really good. All of the gang get all thrown around from it, and we already had stated that the pirates were great. So I gave that an 8.5 out of 10.
Yeah. Before I reveal my rating, I want to quickly mention about this whole chase is the actual lead up to this chase, from the blackout to Captain Skunkbeard's first bit of dialogue to when the music kicks in. It's just a really tense and well directed scene. Like there's actually like a palpable atmosphere and urgency to when the pirates first attack. And when you lead into this very high energy chase with a awesome design of monsters, and a great song, in addition to the gang all being in non-standard outfits, so that it gives a little bit of a visual sort of distinction to this chase. It's just a good chase overall, and I gave it an 8 out of 10 for myself.
This movie has good chases, but the actual movie is bad.
Yeah, which is weirdly paradoxical, because the last few movies where we've rated the chases really well, the rest of the movie has also picked up the quality of those chases, like especially in the case of Where's My Mummy and Loch Ness, and Chill Out to a lesser extent. So it's a weird paradox in that the chases in this movie are so good, but everything surrounding them is just awful.
Oh yeah. And we move on to the third chase, which in my opinion is actually probably the best one in the movie.
Yeah, I would agree. I think I like the music in the first chase, in the second chase, a little better than this one.
Mm-hmm.
But I prefer the gags in this chase wholesale.
Oh, like yeah. The gags in this one are great.
Like the music in this chase, it's the same genre, it's the same vocalist, so the sound is very similar. So it basically comes down to which song you like more. But the gags in this chase are just so good. Like, there's great ones with the cannonball. We get 2 hallway gags, one with barrels and one with actual doors on the ship. We get a pretty cool gag with Skip running around the mast from Sea Salt Sally, where he has to pull out, take a breather, and then goes back to run again, which is really funny to see.
Yeah, that's good.
Most of the gang gets involved in this one. Mostly it's Fred, Skip, Shaggy, and Scooby, but we do get some Daphne and Velma doing some things. They have a cool gag with a cannonball that Scooby and Shaggy have been loaded into that they play ping pong with Captain Skunkbeard for. So the gang does all kind of get a moment to shine in this chase. And again, the music in this chase is sonically quite good, though I wouldn't say up to snuff of the song from the second chase. So I think it is the best chase in the movie visually.
Yeah, there is also a part where they get shot at as Skip and Fred brandish swords. Sea Salt Sally shoots 2 bullets with one gun, one flintlock pistol somehow, and hits both of them, because we're not allowed to stab people. This is a Scooby-Doo movie.
Yes.
Where's our comedy magnet when we need it?
Yes, comically large magnet. So, yeah, that's the third chase. Overall, what did you score it, Pen?
I gave it an 8.5, same as the second one. I think it was like really good.
Yeah. I scored it the same as the second one too. I gave it an 8. So overall, I think the average for our chases is going to be pretty high for this movie.
Yeah.
Now, let's talk about that finale where Fred drifts a fucking galleon.
It's bad. I don't like it. Doesn't make any sense. Look,
Yeah,
I'm
no.
Scooby and Shaggy are the ones supposed to be doing the cartoon stuff. Fred's just supposed to be the traps guy.
Yeah, no.
Just
This is the
supposed to be the
moment
traps.
where Fred registers on the power scale.
Yep.
At some point, we're going to have to turn that into a shirt. Registers on the power scale.
That would be good.
So, yeah, no, this finale for me is bogged down a lot because the set piece at the end where Fred drifts the galleon is like, all right, although it's a retread of Where's My Mummy in that we already escaped a collapsing thing in a boat. So the last movie we watched already did this and better.
Yeah.
And the rest of this finale is just bogged down by them trying to explain just how convoluted and nonsensical the villain plot is.
This is like super. If you try to summarize the plot of this movie, it goes for so long.
Yeah,
it doesn't make any sense.
If you can tell like how short we spent on the chases and the characters versus how long we spent trying to make sense of this movie's plot, like you split it up timestamp wise, just from this episode of the podcast, you can tell how much happens in this movie and how much of it is just not good.
Not saying it's madness. It's all just madness.
No, there was definitely cocaine in the writer's room, I think, for this one.
Oh man, those poor writers.
I just this finale, man. It's
yeah. We gave that finale just like a 5 out of 10. Bad. Doesn't make any sense. Nothing makes any sense. The Bermuda Triangle is real. It ate a meteor.
No. Let's talk about the Bermuda Triangle itself, okay?
Yeah.
Like, the What's New era has been like a lot of classic monsters and stuff. We got mummies. Yeah. We got the Abominable Snowman. We got the Loch Ness Monster. And aside from Where's My Mummy, for the ones where they tackled like real cryptids, there's always been like an element of the actual supernatural, like just outside of the film's purview. Like there was actually a Loch Ness Monster in Loch Ness Monster. It was in like 2 shots.
They find Shangri-La in Chill Out.
Yeah.
They find Buddha, like the actual Buddha. Do they like?
This is a thing that happens. They find the actual Buddha.
It's madness. It's
I just man. Then and there's also like Fleur implies there's a real Abominable Snowman in Chill Out as well.
Yeah.
And then Where's My Mummy? Maybe like when
no, hey Zach, we agreed. The conspiracy is real. It's real. I'm not crazy. The mummy's real.
Well, like, first of all, the Brendan Fraser mummy probably exists in that timeline.
Yep.
Secondly, when Amelia von Butch breaks the seal, they never explain what causes the sandstorm.
No. Or why Odin Fear is just, there and is the same character from the mummy. And anyway, it's not that review. Go watch episode 3 if you want that review.
Where's My Mummy is so good that our love for it is bleeding into a review of this much worse Scooby-Doo movie.
This movie is bad, but I'm not sure we have anything else to say about it. We should go to our final thoughts.
We were going to go into the Bermuda Triangle.
Right. Yeah. The Bermuda Triangle. So, the Bermuda Triangle is one of the safest places on Earth to sail.
Yeah, it literally is. All those mysterious disappearances are like cherry picked.
Mm-hmm.
Like there are equal amounts of mysterious of weird disappearances all over seas, all over the world. Like it's cherry picked into the Bermuda Triangle because it's a very famous geographic area, or I guess naval maritime area. And
maritime spooky zone.
yeah.
Yes.
And literally the only significance of the Bermuda Triangle, and look, I've taken cruises that go into the Bermuda Triangle. It is literally basically the Florida Keys to like some other islands. It's basically just a navigational region used to shortcut maps.
Yep.
As a trade route.
There's nothing exceptional about it. It's just sea right there.
Yeah. It's just a navigational area. It's not like they created the triangle after the disappearances to say like, oh, most of the disappearances occurred within this triangulated area. No, the triangle existed before the disappearances happened. And again, there's been weirder disappearances elsewhere in the world.
Yep. There is also the fact of one thing in this movie that absolutely doesn't make any sense. So the entire plot of this movie is based on this painting. A completely 100% accurate painting of the night sky when the heavens light, the meteor, fell.
200 years ago. Who painted
that? Who painted that? Who was on their like boat vessel in the middle of the random ocean painting the night sky when a meteor struck? Okay, look, here's my theory. The Bermuda Triangle itself did it. The Bermuda Triangle created this painting so that this plot could happen, so that it could finally bury the heaven's light because it can't do it itself.
At this point, considering how little other sense this movie makes, and the fact that the heaven's light might as well be a fucking Dragon Ball, I'd believe it.
Balls later on in this series, they're real. I'm not crazy. There's a literal Dragon Ball.
Let's talk our final thoughts.
Okay. Especially you know what? Let's do our final thoughts and give our ratings for the actual movie. Do you have anything to say, Zach?
I think I've said my piece. This movie is not good. This movie is like the opposite of Cyber Chase. When we get to Cyber Chase, you'll see what I mean a lot better. But in Cyber Chase, the beginning is meh. The middle sucks. But the ending, when they get to level 10 and they meet themselves, is great.
It's great.
Yeah.
It's really funny. I love
this movie's the opposite of Cyber Chase in that the beginning is fine rather than meh. The ending sucks. But the middle is like the best part.
Yeah. When the pirates show up.
And it's just like, why is it that for only like the 25 minutes in the middle between when the pirates first show up and then when they discover the secret cave on the island, why is that like the best part of the movie? Why is the like middle 25 minutes the only good part of this movie? Why do I have to sit through an episode of What's New before I get to the good part of this movie? And then why do I have to sit through this awful ending where they fail to stick the ending just because I wanted to watch the 25 good minutes of this movie?
Yeah. I watched this a lot as a kid, and to be honest, I was really into the kind of wacky, spooky stuff. I still like this movie just because I can laugh at it because this is nonsensical. It's madness, but I really like it for that. There's something about villains that are so dumb that they just don't understand like basic problem solving to me that just makes me laugh. So,
like, I can see the appeal, but this is definitely the worst movie reviewed so far. It is not the worst movie in the What's New era.
No.
I would sooner watch this than that affront to nature.
We speak not of its name.
But
until we have to.
But
you'll see it. Viewers.
Overall, this movie it's not good. If I'm popping in any What's New movie, this is like very low on the list of ones I'd be like, hey, let's watch this with some friends.
It's not super great.
So I gave this movie a 5 out of 10. What did you give it, Penn?
I've revised my score from since we talked about it, I've now given it a 6.5 out of 10. It was originally a 7.5, but now that we've been talking about it, I kind of realized that, no, it's not as good as I remember.
Yeah. Like, some of the Scooby-Doo movies age super well, like Where's My Mummy or Loch Ness. Some of them are, like, way cooler than I remember, like one we'll get to at the end of this. But this one is definitely one that I had this one on DVD too, and it's definitely way worse than I remember it being.
And I think with that, we have reached the end, right?
Yeah. Let's move to our scorecard then.
All right, baby. Our scorecard. So we have a 7.75 average out of 10 for our chases, a 5 out of 10 for the whole movie for Zach, and a 6.5 out of 10 for the whole movie for me. We have no instances of Scrappy Doo, no Tom Kenny, and the gang has still only committed 1 count of terrorism.
The villains of this movie, we didn't go through each of their individual crimes, but they did commit a lot of piracy and accomplished basically nothing for all their effort. And now Mr. Billionaire Beef Wellington owes probably $550 million to some unnamed nebulous cruise company.
Why did they have an actual pirate ship? It doesn't matter. That's the episode. Thanks for watching. And remember, we wouldn't have a podcast without those meddling kids and their dumb dog.